Hi there, my magical star beings. This is Psychic Siren Tarot, and welcome to the channel. In today's reading, we're going to be taking a look at what do people think of you when you leave the room. So please be aware this is a general reading to only take what resonates and leave the rest, as the messages may differ for everyone. I'm now going to show you your crystals. For pile number 1, we have this Larimar crystal. For pile number 2, we have this honey calcite crystal. And for pile number 3, we have carnelian. I'm going to give you a few seconds to pick a pile. Pick whichever pile you're most drawn to. If you're drawn to more than one pile, you can pick 2 or all of them. Your intuition will always know best. You can also pause the video if you need more time, and if you are done picking a pile, please find the timestamps for your pile in the description box below, and then I will see you at your reading. Hi there, my pile number 1s. If you chose the Larimar crystal, this reading is for you. We're going to be taking a look at what do people think of you when you leave the room. So you chose the card Fearless Love. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of your cards, but please be aware this is a general reading to only take what resonates and leave what doesn't, as the messages may differ for everyone. Also, what people think of you may not necessarily be true, but maybe a misconception they have in their own mind as a first impression, so just take it as it resonates. Okay, so for your cards, we have Sea Storm with Calm Amid Chaos. We have the Ace of Coins, which is the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Four of Swords. We have the Queen of Swords. We have the Emperor. And we have the Temperance card. We have the World card. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the Moon. And lastly, we have the Star. Okay, my pile number 1s, now that we have your cards laid out, I see exactly what people think of you when you leave the room. So I'm noticing in this card, Fearless Love, we have peacock feathers really standing out here. The peacock represents that energy of royalty, of standing out, of really just shining, standing out and shining, that kind of energy. So there's this feeling of people thinking that you stand out or shine in your own beautiful and unique way, and that is that energy is showing up again in the Star card. So people think when you leave the room that you just shine so bright in everything you do, in the way you speak with the Queen of Swords, in the way you interact with people. Your mind shines in its own unique way because you have a very incredible mind with the Ace of Swords. I think you're very, very smart and very intelligent, and you can communicate that with your words with the Queen of Swords. So I'm feeling that energy very heavily, that people just are kind of intrigued by how smart you are, by how intelligent you are, even if you don't see yourself that way. Perhaps the way you speak is very eloquent or elegant in some way. Okay, or perhaps the way you use your words makes you sound very smart and interesting to people. I'm also picking up on the energy that you shine in the way you look, because that's probably the first thing people notice about you, about anyone per se. So they think that you shine in your look with the star card, that you really take up space when you walk into the room first, before you leave the room, that you really like take up space when you walk into the room, that you really shine in whatever outfit you're wearing, whatever makeup you do, whatever hairstyle you do. um you know, doesn't have to be related to gender, but that's just kind of like the energy I'm seeing. And the way you even carry yourself, you shine in that. Because there's this feeling of you having a lot of self love for yourself, even though perhaps it took you a long time to get here. Because I'm picking up, you've been through a lot of chaos in your life, a lot of um, hurt in your life with the Sea Storm card, and I'll explain that in a moment. But I think that's what people think of you, that you've been through a lot in your life, or perhaps they just think that even if you haven't. I don't necessarily know why. Maybe it's something you've spoken about, or perhaps something in your eyes looks sad in some type of way. Okay, but yeah, we'll see as we go along. And the peacock also represents power, strength, confidence, divinity. So there's this energy of you looking very powerful, very being very respected after you leave the room. That's what people think of you, that they respect you a lot, that they see you in a higher way. Like, I think people put you on a higher pedestal naturally. Um, and they think that you carry yourself with a lot of confidence and self love and power and strength, and that you really just stand out in your own unique way. And everything you do it with this kind of sass, if I can explain it like that. I don't know how to explain this energy, but Spirit is showing me, when someone walks into a prom, like prom night kind of energy, and then they're walking, and then they have their dress on, and then everyone just stops and looks at them and stares at them, and then they pose or they flick their hair, they have a little bit of sass to them. And then they walk down the stairs very elegantly and all eyes are on them. And then they sit down at their seat. And then even when they sit down at their seat, they just capture everyone's essence and eyes on them. And that's the feeling I'm getting. Like, Spirit is showing me that vision to explain the energy I'm trying to explain. But there's this feeling of you really shine and take up space when you enter the room, but also when you leave the room. And that's what people think of you. And, she's even holding a mirror in her hand. So there's this feeling of you really taking care of yourself in the sense of your physical looks. Like doing your makeup properly and it looks gorgeous if you're a woman, or doing your hair in such a beautiful hairstyle and it just looks gorgeous and flawless. Yeah, I'm hearing flawless. And there's this energy of, like, even the way you dress, it just looks very bougie or expensive, as we see here, or you just very look like you pull off anything you wear. Even in this outfit here, I think your style is very gorgeous or handsome, you know what I mean? And that's something people really think of when you leave the room, that your look just really stands out in some way, and the way you dress, the way you express yourself really stands out in some way, and you look like you love yourself. You look like you really take care of the way you look, even if you don't per se, and that's what they think of you. There's also this feeling of you being very divine. That's a thought people have, that you look divine in some type of way when you leave the room. Okay. And there's also a feeling of you holding a lot of beauty and like I'm hearing the word fertility. So there's this energy of people really thinking thoughts of heavy sensual attraction towards you, but also having, some crushes on you, or, people of the same gender probably thinking that you're just so beautiful or so handsome. And there's that kind of energy of people being really, really attracted to you in some type of way, is what I'm seeing in your cards. And that is what people think of you. So I think they just think of you, and they put you on this pedestal, especially if they're attracted to you in a romantic way. They kind of think of you, as they fall asleep here with the Four of Swords, and they just think of your beauty, is something I'm picking up on. There's also the energy of people thinking of you as someone that is very colorful, very bright and outgoing. And I think, you've had a lot of challenges in your life with the Nine of Wands, and that's what people think of you. But there's this feeling of you still hold this high amount of sunshine energy within you that you take everywhere you go, and you spread it everywhere, even if you've been through challenges yourself. And that is what people think of you, whether it's true or not. There's also this feeling when you leave the room that people think that you are financially stable in some way, but not just financially stable, that you are making a lot of money with the Ace of Coins and this. Like, I see a lot of gold here with the waterfalls and gold shimmers, and even the way she looks just looks bougie or expensive in some way. So even if you don't see yourself that way, even if you don't think of yourself that way, there's this feeling of perhaps the way you carry yourself looks very rich or expensive in some way, or bougie, or perhaps the way you dress, even if you don't wear expensive clothes, there's something about you that is really classy, that is carrying yourself in a way that looks rich or expensive. And I think it's perhaps your soul and your aura. And there's this feeling of sometimes people get jealous of that, but then I feel like you have this energy like, okay, why are you jealous of me? Like, what is, I don't know how to explain it. Not what is there to be jealous about, but like, if someone is dressed well and they look good in what they're wearing, it doesn't necessarily always mean that they're rich. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be different for all of you watching, but there's this feeling of people sometimes feeling jealous of you because of that. Like people of the same gender. And there's also a feeling of people like thinking of you and having a crush on you. And you know how I said you just hold this immense amount of beauty and attraction, and you just shine in whatever you do? Like, I'm seeing some people, kind of flirt with you, and then maybe you reject them, or perhaps you don't catch on that they're flirting with you, or perhaps you do catch on, but sometimes we want to take it slow, sometimes we just want to get to know the person. I don't know what the scenario is, but there's this feeling of them thinking that you don't like them if you do that. And it's not to say that you should not reject people because you have a right to take things slow, or to just get to know someone first. And if they want to just do everything in a very fast way, that's a red flag. You know what I mean? My pal number one. So there is that feeling there. Yeah, like I kind of get the energy that perhaps some people think that you've been hurt in love before, um, in some type of way, or that you've just been through very chaotic or trigger warning, traumatic moments in your life. I don't know if you've spoken about this to people, but there's this feeling of you perhaps going through some dark seasons in your life, which is why I said, what is there to be jealous of? Because you've had your fair share of life. Everybody has their fair share of life. There's no reason to be jealous of anyone, even if they have everything we want right now. We all have our own pains, we all have our own things we've been through, and we don't always see deeper into someone's pain. We just see the happy face that they carry that day, and we assume that they're always happy, or we just see that maybe they had money to spend that day, but then we think they always have money. You get what I mean, my pal number one? So I think that is a kind of like, sometimes people misunderstand you because of just how they've seen you that day, and then they feel some sort of jealousy towards you. But the ones that really see you kind of see that you've been through stormy seasons of your life. And now things are starting to get better. You're starting to, have more self love for yourself. You're starting to fear less of like love. You're starting to open your heart up to love again. And that's what people think of you, or just, friendships and things like that again. After being through a stormy season of your life, a chaotic season of your life, starting to believe in your worth and starting to um, see your own worth. And then it's like people that really see you or have, like deep conversations with you with the Queen of Swords can understand this part of you. And there's almost this feeling of like them thinking they understand you better after you leave the room, if you open up about yourself and your life, and have deep conversations that are emotionally intimate with the moon card. So yeah, there is this feeling of people thinking that if they've gotten to know you on a deeper level, or perhaps just assuming that because like maybe you look sad, or you like had the sad look in your eyes, I don't know, something along those lines. Just take it as it resonates. um but yeah, there's this feeling of them like understanding you better and being like, oh, that's why that person is like this, because they've been through this and this and this. Oh, like that kind of energy. And there's this feeling of people thinking of you as like this warrior with the Nine of Wands. Nothing can break you, that you've been through a lot of challenges in your life, but you still carry a grateful positivity for the future. You still spread sunshine everywhere you go, and that's what people think of you after you leave the room. And I think they also think that some of you, like some people think that you're an introvert, okay? Whereas others of you, people think that you're really self-aware, is something I'm seeing. Or that you, even if you're not an introvert, like that you kind of get along with certain types of people, and you're not going to force connections with people that just aren't interesting you, if that makes sense. So take it as it resonates. But for others of you, like I'm kind of feeling between a mix of energies. Like if you don't speak to people that much, like when you leave the room because you're not feeling interested in talking to them, perhaps they think that you're introverted. And if you really speak to other people, and like let's say you're dancing, you're having fun, you're just living your life, whatever you're doing when you leave before you leave the room, there's this feeling of people thinking that you're the life of the party, that you're just so fun to be around, that you are loud, but not in a bad way, but like loud and fun to have around, and that you take up space. So I guess there's a different energy of like what people think depending on how you interact with them. So yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of fun energy, like people thinking that you're very fun to be around as well. And I think those that perhaps know you a little bit better think of you as very stable, okay? They think of you as very down to earth and stable, and even though you hold this kind of like energy of like standing out and shining, that you're really down to earth, that you're really intelligent, that you shine in your talents in your career, that you're always trying to better yourself there and achieve something, is what I'm seeing. And kind of the feeling I get is this is really cute because I'm seeing, the people that really see you and understand you and have, intimate, like kind of vulnerable conversations with you and understand you and your mind better. There's this feeling of them kind of like praying for you before they go to sleep after you leave the room. Thinking of you and kind of like sending you love from afar. So that is really beautiful and cute. But there's also this feeling of people thinking of you in a way that they think you're really balanced, they think you're really stable, they think you're really down to earth, but you're also like that life of the party energy and fun to be around. But then some people also think that you're kind of like quiet and not wanting to talk to anyone if you're not interested in talking to them. So I guess it just depends on who you're around and like if how much you like them. But yeah, I keep getting the energy sexy. Like even with her leg out here, there's this kind of vibe you give off that people just really think of you like that. I think a lot of people have crushes on you, like when you leave the room. And people really enjoy looking at you, but also hearing you talk and listening to you. There's something about the way you speak that they think you're really intelligent. They want to get to know your mind better. But they also think that you're really balanced and stable, but at the same time, really connected to your emotions and intuition and not afraid to be emotionally vulnerable with those you love. And I think that a lot of people think high thoughts of you. I think it's just the people that kind of get jealous of you because of how much you shine that can kind of get a little bit iffy with you, or if they think that you're rich or something like that. But I feel like it's a very small portion of people, or the people that maybe you rejected or wanted to take it slow with, if they had like heavy massive crushes on you, then I feel like it's kind of like a resentment there. But mostly I'm seeing like people think very highly of you when you leave the room, my pal number ones. And I'm just getting a lot of good vibes here, a lot of beautiful energies here. So that was your reading, my pal number ones. I really hope that this reading resonated. If it did, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading. Bye! Hi there, my pal number twos. If you chose this honey calcite crystal, this reading is for you. We're going to be taking a look at what do people think of you when you leave the room. So please be aware this is a general reading to only take what resonates and leave what doesn't, as the messages may differ for everyone. But please also be aware that what people think of you may not necessarily be true. Okay, so we have here the Brazen card. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of your cards for you. Okay, so the next card we have is Fairy of the Highlands with It's Time to Be Brave. We have the Five of Swords. And we have the Universe. For your tarot, we have the Six of Cups, We have the Knight of Wands. We have the Page of Wands. We have the Lovers. We have the Sun. We have the Hermit. We have the Knight of Wands again. Interesting. And lastly, we have the Six of Wands. So I'm noticing here with the Knight of Wands coming up twice, there is, also along with this card, we see a woman shaking her hips. The story is that she casts spells with her hips. I don't take the reading as literal spells, but there's this feeling of like when you are in the room, if you've ever been, partying or dancing or anything like that, or perhaps just with the way you move your body, it's kind of like you look like you're almost, if you're a woman, like you're almost casting spells with your hips, like you're just kind of drawing or luring people in with the way you move your body in some type of way. There's this feeling of a lot of sensual attraction from the other gender, or people you're attracted to when you do walk into the room, and after you walk into the room and they think of you in that type of way. This is not an 18 plus reading, but it's something I'm seeing in your cards, so I'm just going to honor the messages. So there's a lot of people that just find you very sexy, very hot, even if you don't necessarily see yourself this way, my pal number twos. There's a lot of attraction here, a lot of attraction. I'm just hearing fiery hot, like that's what people think of you when you do leave the room. And there's this feeling of, since it's opposite the Five of Swords, it may attract, some jealousy because you're kind of stealing all the attention when you are in the room. And it's like all eyes are on you. You almost like cast a spell with your looks, with the way you move your hips if you ever dance or anything like that. I kind of get like life of the party vibes here, even if you don't think of yourself that way. There's this feeling of people thinking of you that way. People think that you're loud, that you're confident, that you take up space, that you're bold, and that is what people think of you. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but they really think of it in a highly attracted way, if that makes sense. I'm also noticing she has fruits with her and she's dancing around, so perhaps some people think of you as, having a very nice body, as having a very toned or nice body. Like they think that you take good care of your body, that you eat right, that you exercise, or that you move around a lot, if that makes sense. And there's just this feeling of high attraction towards you. Spirit is making a joke. When you buy coffee at, a coffee store and it says caution hot, that's what Spirit just showed me. So yeah, that's the feeling people get from you and what they think of you when you leave the room. There's just a lot of that attraction energy, and like, am I gonna see this person again? Am I ever gonna see this person? This person is just so hot. That's the feeling I get. Also, your fashion style, your sense of fashion is very unique and authentic to you. And there's just this feeling of people's mouths watering for you when you are in the room. And when you leave the room, it's like you're all they can think of, is what I'm seeing here in your cards, my pal number twos. And people think that you are just a ray of sunshine because, you chose the honey calcite crystal as well as the sun card came out. So that tells me that People think of you as a ray of sunshine when you leave the room, that you look like a really happy person, even if you don't think of yourself that way, or that you are kind of like the life of the party. I feel like people think of you as if you're really popular, as if a lot of people like you, or a lot of people just do like you, and when you leave the room, everybody's talking about you, and there is that feeling there of like you kind of being the life of the party, or people just loving your energy, you just being fun to be around and fun to have in their presence. And people also think of you in a high level, where they think of you as someone that is having a lot of self-worth, that is very confident in themselves, that is bold, that can wear whatever they want whenever they want. With the "it's time to be brave" card, that you're really brave to really be your true self, that you're really brave to show off your authentic self, that you're really brave and bold, where if you want to wear an outfit and it may seem like you're gonna be overdressed, that you're going to wear it and you're going to steal all the attention and looks and be bold while doing that. That if you're going to make moves, you're kind of gonna be crowned, like, because we even see Miss Universe here in this card. There's this feeling of people putting you on a high pedestal, and seeing you get far in life in terms of your career, but also just putting you on a high pedestal. Like, I mean, we literally have Miss Universe here. So yeah, that's what I see in your cards, my pal number twos. People just naturally think highly of you when you leave the room. You give off princess, queen, king vibes. Like, you hold yourself to a high standard, and there's this feeling of people. I'm hearing like Beyonce, bow down, B word. So yeah, there is that feeling there, that I'm getting, that people think really highly of you. They put you on a pedestal. They think that you have a lot of power, or that you shine a lot in whatever you do. And there's this feeling of everyone having their eyes on you, everyone admiring you, you being extremely attractive in some way. That's what people think of you when you leave the room. Okay, I'm also seeing the energies, like, with the waterfalls here and the sea and everything. I feel like there's this feeling of people thinking that you have a beautiful energy, because the waterfalls is reminding me of, like, when, like how I said, you're just fun to be around. I feel like that's perhaps more in the party kind of vibes. But like, when you think of when you go to a waterfall and it's just so serene, the sounds are beautiful, and it's just so peaceful watching the water flow. And I feel like that's how people think of you with your energy when it's not like a party vibe, but they still think that you're really fun to be around. But they also find your energy quite peaceful and serene, and just, it's lovely to be around. Like, that's the feeling I get. Like, I'm content being around you. I feel joy being around you. I feel this energy of just like being serene. That's the feeling I get from you, that people get from being around you, and they like your energy. That's what they think of you. Okay, because they like that your energy can match the situation. Like, you can be really peaceful to be around, but you can also be really fun to be around, is what I'm seeing in your cards. And there's this energy of you just being really, really beautiful, really, really handsome, and stealing all eyes on you, and you being really bold and brave to be your authentic self. So that may attract some jealousy, my pal number twos. Just be very aware of that. It may attract some jealousy. When I started your reading, I heard a car alarm go off, and I went on Google and find out what it meant, and it meant something along the lines of like a warning. You know, when your car alarm goes off, it's like a warning, but then it's like something to really pay attention to. So it's not a warning that you should be afraid of, because I feel your ancestors are protecting you. You're heavily protected, my pal number twos. But the warning here, since we see Miss Universe being crowned, and we have the Six of Wands here. Okay, Six of Wands represents success. And I said, you know, you may attract some jealousy because of how attractive you are. Like people thinking you're going to steal their lover, or they're just really bitter because you have all eyes on you, all attention on you. And also, like, the warning here is, you know, we see Miss Universe being crowned. We see the Six of Wands here with success, and we see a train. The train represents movement, but I also heard a car alarm. Cars represent movement, moves from one place to another. So taking all these signs together, these 4 different signs together from the cards and the car alarm and this train here on this card, there is the energy of a warning from Spirit to not speak about things that you want to achieve before they come to fruition. Because with the Five of Swords here, Five of Swords is betrayal, sabotage, that kind of energy, or jealous energy, like them thinking negative thoughts of you, wanting you to kind of fall in whatever success you're going to create in your life. It doesn't have to be career related, but for some of you it is. For some of you it's, you know, success in love. You get what I mean? Or just kind of like success in other aspects of your life. But there is movement here. You know, you are moving forward, and you are going to move forward. But like the car alarm said, that's the warning sign. Don't talk about things before they come to fruition. Don't talk about your dreams, your goals to strangers or to people you don't necessarily trust, because their negative thoughts, their evil eye it won't stop the movement, because I feel like you're very protected. Because Spirit is showing me a train, and, you know, like maybe this train has a little lug in it, and that little lug is the jealousy or jealous thoughts someone thought of. And maybe the train hits that thing, but it doesn't break or anything, right? But it needs to kind of like, the train needs to first stop. The man needs to come out, like the conductor of the train needs to first come out and look at what's wrong, and then take the lug out, and then go again. But then that kind of creates a like pause in the momentum, in the movement. So you are moving somewhere, and that's what people think of you, that you're having a lot of movement, a lot of growth in your life, that you're going to reach somewhere far in your life. And there's this feeling of jealous eyes on you when you speak about these things. So to be very careful of that, because it can slow down the movement or the progress, not keep it gone forever, but there's this feeling of it slowing down the progress, if that makes sense. So that is your warning from Spirit, to not speak about things, because there's this feeling of when you leave the room, they almost prey on your downfall, the people that are jealous of you. Okay, so please be very careful of who you tell your dreams, your goals to, your desires to, what you are busy achieving. Please be very careful of that, my pal number twos, because you shine bright like the sun. You know what I mean? And everything you do is bold and beautiful, and like all eyes are on you. Of course there's going to be haters, because they wish they could be in that position you are. Even if you don't see yourself that way, of course they're going to be jealous of you. You get what I mean, my pal number two? So just be very careful of that. My stomach just growled, so that lets me know Spirit is communicating, because I'm not like hungry or anything, but Spirit is communicating that they're hungry for what you have. Perhaps you have love in your life, or perhaps you have success in your life, or perhaps you have confidence and boldness, and, you know, people loving you, all eyes on you, and that's what they want, okay? They're hungry for what you have. So that is the feeling I get of what people think of you. Like, sometimes they see you having movement. Some people are really happy for you. They see you going really far. They see your potential in your life. But other people see that. They see your potential, and they think negative thoughts of your success and what you want to grow in your life, what you want, how you want to move and grow. Movement can also represent travel in some way, like if you want to travel one day. So don't tell people your plans about what you want to do in this lifetime unless you really trust them, okay? But even so, I wouldn't tell people until whatever you've done has come to fruition, until you've been crowned, as we see here in the universe card. So I didn't want to spend too long on that energy, but I heard a clear warning from Spirit, so I had to honor that message. So there's also a feeling of people thinking of you in a really romantic way with the Lovers card. People having a lot of crushes and attraction towards you when you leave the room. But there's also a feeling of like people thinking that you're really successful in every part of your life, that you really are just glowing in every part of your life. People thinking that you're magical because we see, you know, a purple horse here, that you're magical in some way, that you just shine brightly, that you are bold, that you're confident, that you have everything a person could want in a friend and a lover, you know, like you just steal all eyes on you, and that's what people think of you when you leave the room. You know how I said, you know, they think that you're the life of the party? People that you don't quite talk to, with the Hermit card, sometimes think that you are a little bit introverted, or that you don't want to talk to them, that you like being in your own space. But I think for some of you, I think some of you are introverts, and you know, sometimes you go out, you have fun, but then you need your time to rest and recharge. Whereas some of you are like introverted, extroverted, or some of you are more extroverted around people you like and get along with, whereas people you don't like, you don't try to create conversation with them if you don't see it going anywhere, you know what I mean? So they kind of get that misconception of you, and think you're really quiet or just like your own space. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing. And then with the Six of Cups, there's also a feeling of when you leave the room, people sometimes think that you were really fun to be around, you're really positive, really passionate about life, but then they think like, have I known this person from somewhere? They look really familiar. Or something about your essence feels familiar to them. And even the fact that we have like a castle in the background, there's this energy of you almost, I don't think sometimes you've known the people before, but there's this feeling of like, I think you remind people of their own inner child, because we see this fairy castle in the background and, you know, purple horse here. I think you bring people back to their inner child and remind them of a part in their life where they were free, where they could sing and have fun and just be themselves and not really care about what other people thought. And I think that's the energy you bring in for people, this magical vibe and essence, and that's what I feel from the energy. So that was your reading on what people think of you, my pal number twos, when you leave the room. I really hope that this reading resonated. If it did, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading. Bye! Hi there, my pal number threes. If you chose this carnelian crystal, this reading is for you. We're going to be taking a look at what do people think of you when you leave the room. So you chose the card Truth. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of your cards, but please be aware this is a general reading to only take what resonates and leave the rest. And also please be aware that what people think of you may not necessarily be true, but it's what they think of you after you leave the room. Okay, so for your cards, we have Eclipse Mermaid with a powerful energy shift. We have the Sun card. We have the Page of Wands. We have the Five of Pentacles. We have the Six of Wands. We have the Five of Wands. We have the Star. We have the Queen of Wands. We have the Three of Swords. We have the Nine of Swords. And lastly, we have the Page of Wands again. Okay, my pile number threes. Now that we have your cards laid out, I see exactly what people think of you when you leave the room. So I'm noticing, with both these cards, we have a lot of red in these cards. Red represents the energy of personal power, of being very grounded, being very much stable in your own energy. Red to me is also the energy of attraction and lust. So there's this energy of like people thinking that you're a really powerful person, that you're really attractive, that you really are powerful in the way you just stand out and take space up, and like you're kind of bold with the way you take up space, and that's what people think of you when you leave the room. But people also think of you in a highly attracted way, like they are highly attracted to you. It's almost like they lust after you, or they see some kind of I'm not feeling like all people, but like a lot of people do. But like there's this energy of like them really feeling highly attracted to you, and thinking that of you when you leave the room, thinking that you're kind of, I just heard femme fatale energy, like that you just have all eyes on you, and that's what people think of you when you leave the room. And it may attract some jealousy here actually, because we have the Five of Wands here. We have the Queen of Wands, the Three of Swords, the Nine of Swords. So it's like you are really confident in yourself. You're really independent. You're really courageous to really just be bold and be your true self and stand out as a person, and really be seen in your beauty, in your attraction and everything like that. So there's this feeling of people of the same gender sometimes, just not everybody, but like some of them feel just really just in competition with you. They always want to just look better than you or be in competition with you. There's this feeling of like when you outdress them, or I know you may not even care about this, but this is like what they're thinking, okay? There's this feeling of them really getting worried, and like worried about how they're kind of gonna outshine you in a way, if that makes sense. But since we see lions on this card, lions relate to that king of the jungle energy, queen of the jungle. So you kind of take up space and you're put on a high pedestal, and just because people are attracted to you, like there's this feeling of you steal all eyes on you, and you kind of like leave people just very shocked in your presence, if that makes sense, by how attractive you are and how much you take up space, and kind of like bold, creative, very courageous to show yourself, and just take up space is what I feel. And there's this feeling of like people finding you really attractive, but like the same gender feeling very insecure and feeling very worried, because they feel heartbroken because maybe they dressed up their best that day and really tried their best to look the best, and now they're secretly in competition with you, but you're not even trying to be in competition with them. You're just being yourself and being playful, and you have a powerful energy in essence that kind of sometimes rubs people the wrong way and puts them in competition with you, but you're not trying to be in competition with them. You're just in your own lane. You're being in competition with yourself. You get what I mean? And every time it's like they get worried after you leave because, like, let's say you go to a specific place and you see the same people often, or like something along those lines, and then they're scared to see you there again because they don't want you to outshine them, if that makes sense. They want to be the center of attention like you are. Even if you don't see yourself as the center of attention, this is what they're thinking and feeling. Okay, my pal number threes. So there's this energy of like you really stealing all the attention, all the looks, and them really just feeling heartbroken is what I feel, and worried. And it's sad. It's really sad because, you know, with the star card, you shine brightly, my pal number threes. And I don't feel like you're trying to intimidate anyone or trying to make anyone jealous or trying to be in competition with anyone. You know, you can be a star in the sky that shines brightly, and they can be a star in the sky that shines brightly too. No one can outshine anyone. So them thinking this way is really a distorted way of thinking, and you shine brightly, but there's no possible way to outshine someone else. You can only outshine them if they think they are being outshined, if that makes sense. So I think they're kind of just looking at it in a distorted way. And, you know, last night it kind of reminds me of the energy. I was watching a video on YouTube. It was like something about the price of pretty privilege. And I think it was a movie of, I'm just going to get the name. It was Malina. I don't know if that's the actual movie name, but it was like The Price of Pretty Privilege by Hala. And then she was showing the movie of that movie and how she was just so beautiful, but she kind of had a curse of beauty, if that makes sense. Like, I don't see it that way, but sometimes, you know, being pretty or beautiful or handsome and really stealing all the attention can leave you feeling a little bit wounded because sometimes you don't want that extra attention on you. You don't want that jealousy on you. But I'll explain the storyline. Oh, it's a film. It's actually a film. Okay, so she lives in a small town and she's just so gorgeous, and the whole time she's walking around in the town and men are lusting over her, and she's not even trying to be lusted over. She's just walking around. She's pretty, she's beautiful, like, and there's this energy of the way they're lusting over her. You can see she doesn't feel great about it. It doesn't make her feel good because, you know, like, you're just walking there. You're beautiful, yes, but if I'm thinking of myself in her shoes, I wouldn't want to be put in that light, like sexualized like that, if that makes sense. So like, I felt really sad for her when she was walking through the streets and men were just kind of lusting after her, if that makes sense. And then after that, like, women were just kind of jealous of her, but it wasn't her fault that all these men were just looking at her. It wasn't her fault at all. And she kind of just walked through the streets. After a while, she kind of just got used to it, and she realized all she was going to be seen was like as a pretty face. And I'm not saying this is your story, but like, I'm just trying to explain the energy of what I saw last night, because it's not a coincidence that I watched that video and the cards are coming out like this. So I was meant to see that video. So it kind of just explains the energy here. And, you know, those women were really jealous because their husbands were looking at her or their boyfriends were looking at her. But she wasn't trying to get their attention in the first place. You get what I mean? So later on in the movie, she kind of, it gets a little bit dark in the movie. It gets really dark. And then later on, the woman tried to beat her up because she's kind of just like stealing all the attention, you know what I mean? And it's a really sad story. Like, it's a really sad story to think about and talk about how, you know, usually people see someone that is pretty or handsome and they think they have everything because of that. But sometimes, beauty can be a blessing and a curse, because you'll attract a lot of jealousy. And I'm not saying it's a real curse, but I'm just like using it as a metaphor. Sometimes you'll attract jealousy from people and you're not even trying to be in competition with them. I feel like you have a really playful personality with the Page of Wands showing up twice. You're passionate about life, you're passionate about what you do. With the sunflower here, I feel like you are a person that kind of just spreads sunflowers, sunshine everywhere you go. Even with the sun card, that's the vibe I get from you, my pile number threes. And these people of the same gender kind of become in this competition with you that doesn't even exist. Like, why are they in this horse race with you when you're not even trying to be in the race? You get what I mean? So it's disheartening to see in the reading, and I'm sorry to give this like kind of message, but it's what I'm seeing. So I don't feel like it's everyone, but I feel like it's just people that are very insecure within themselves, that kind of are in that competitive energy. So my pile number threes, the advice I can give from this is you need friends that are going to have the same values as you. You need friends that are going to understand that, yes, you're beautiful, but they can also be beautiful or handsome, you know what I mean? And it's not like you're in a competition. You need friends that are secure within themselves, even if these are not friends, but I'm just speaking out of general, like the energy I'm seeing, okay? You need friends that are confident in themselves and who know that even if you shine, you won't outshine them, that you can shine together. You get what I mean? You need people that are just secure and confident within themselves as well around you, because I feel like some of these people, when you've left the room, they have different values and beliefs and a distorted view of life, a different way of seeing life, and I feel like you're a lot more pure-hearted than them. Like, I feel like it's not a thing of being superficial or anything, but I feel like you are a lot more truthful, a lot more honest, a lot more pure-hearted. And yes, you're gorgeous and you get all these attention, and or handsome and get all these attention, but you have other beautiful qualities to you too, other than just physical looks. You get what I mean? You have a beautiful heart, you have a beautiful soul, you spread sunshine, rainbows, these kind of sunflowers everywhere you go. I feel like you're the type of person to hype up your friends and help them see that they shine too. And you have so many beautiful qualities and traits to you, but sometimes people only see the physical because they're shallow people. You know what I mean? And I feel like the feeling I'm getting is other people that aren't jealous of you, they see that you kind of are like changing a lot in your life with the Eclipse Mermaid. And it's funny that this card came out because today we literally have a solar eclipse at the time I'm recording this. So there's this energy of like people thinking that you're really going through a lot of changes in your life internally and externally. There's this feeling of you almost like removing chaos from your life, removing people that are in competition with you in your life, removing people that don't add to your life, removing people that stress you out, that hurt your heart, that make you feel like that love is lacking, whether it's friendship or romantic or family even, you know what I mean? And people see, like the people that aren't jealous of you, see that you are really confident and how much you shine and how independent you are and the beautiful traits and qualities you have. And they feel like they think of you in a very highly way, where they think of you as really playful and fun to be around. You give them that vibe that they can just disconnect from adults or responsibility life, where they can just be a kid again and have fun and laugh and play. And that's the kind of feeling you give people. I'm not feeling like thoughts, but like feelings here, like people that really see you deeply. They appreciate the fact that you're a truthful person, that you're an honest person. They think of you when you leave the room as someone that is experiencing these changes in their life, that is powerful and taking back their own power and not letting anybody walk all over them or steal their power away by shaming them for shining brightly. You get what I mean? And they see you as someone that just shines brightly, that is healing, that is pouring into yourself, my pile number threes. They see you as someone, and they think of you when you leave the room as someone that is just very happy to be around, that brings a lot of fun into their life, that brings a lot of sunshine into their life. And like I said, there's also a lot of attraction here. So you may just have a lot of crushes or people having a high attraction towards you when you leave the room and thinking of you in that way. But there's also this feeling of people thinking that you're really ethereal, because I mean, we see a blue horse here. It kind of reminds me of that energy of what are those horses, those horse pony like toys that we used to play with as kids? And they had like different colors and they were so cute and pretty. Kind of reminds me of that energy. And then here we have like a playful horse kind of energy. So people think of you as really majestical, really just magical in some way, really ethereal when you leave the room. You have this ethereal, magical quality to you, and people also think of you as really imaginative and creative in some type of way, like your ideas are really amazing. People think of you when you leave the room that you can just match their energy, and it's beautiful. Like if they're sarcastic with you, you can be sarcastic back. If they are joking around and pulling your leg, you'll pull their leg back. Like that's the feeling I get. You match people's energies, and that's what people think of you. So the people that really see you think really highly of you, my pile number threes. And I'm seeing that a lot of people think that you are gaining some type of movement in your life. Where you once had scarcity is now filling up to a successful area of your life. So for example, if you once had friends that were always in competition with you, you are now filling up that area of your life, that heartbreak of your life, with a successful energy. Now you have friends that are shining and see you shine too, and you shine together, and it's beautiful, and it's a lot of love, and it's your values are interconnected. There's no tension there. Let's say you had a lot of lack in love and romantic love, where people maybe just saw the outside perspective but they didn't see you. Now that area of your life is filling up with good energy, with love that is playful, where you can be friends, and that love is pure and it's truthful and it's honest and it's kind and it's healing. You get what I mean? Healing those broken pieces of your heart. Take the messages as they resonate. Let's say you really had scarcity in terms of money and finances and career success. Now they see those areas of your life filling up with success, and they're the people that think highly of you see you shining and getting recognition. Okay. There's also the energy of people that think highly of you. Really think of you as someone that is going to make it far in your life with your plans and your goals, someone that's going to have a lot of movement. Just like pile number 2, just be careful of who you tell your plans to, because I got that warning for them. But for you, there's also a lot of jealousy, so just be careful of who you tell your plans to. But people see your potential and they think of you really highly in that way, that you're going to make a lot of movement in your life, a lot of change in your life, and that you're going to be very powerful with all your manifestations of what you desire come in. They think of you as someone that is very generous, very kind, very nurturing, very wise as well. When you leave the room, they also think of you as someone that is leaving behind things that don't serve you and busy creating the life of your dreams. And it doesn't matter how long it takes, you're patient as long as you get there. And that is what I feel people think of you when you leave the room. So Spirit wanted me to leave the good things for last, to end the reading off on a high note. And I'm just looking at these cherries here. I wonder what that means. Let me just check quickly before we end off. And I just got a notification 4 minutes ago. I have made it through hard times before. So Spirit is reminding you of your strength here. Okay. Let's see. Cherry, spiritual meaning. Oh, in ancient mythology, the fruit of the cherry tree contains the elixir which gives the gods their immortality. In Chinese lore, it was believed that the magical phoenix slept on the bed of the cherry blossom to bless it with everlasting love. With everlasting life, sorry. In old Buddhist stories, the cherry is represented as fertility and femininity. Okay, that's interesting. And it says the cherry teaches us to embrace the sweetness and grace of life while practicing non-attachment. So that's interesting that I read a notification of I've made it through hard times before. So Spirit reminding you of your strength, and maybe people seeing your strength before you leave the room or after you leave the room. People seeing how strong you are. The fact that them showing here immortality, the fact that nothing can break you, that is what people see in you, and that's what people, Spirit is trying to remind you of. And the fertility and femininity, it's the fact that you just attract everything you want with your manifestations, your desires, but also lovers, and teaching us to see the sweetness of life. Because as much as there is, this negative dark energy here, there's also a lot of good energies that I left for lost, okay? So my pile number 3s, I really hope that this reading resonated. If it did, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading. Bye!